All right, grade 8. I hope that you are doing well. Okay, so we have already started speaking to speak about the joining clauses and how can you just make the parts of the sentence to be compound together. So we have spoken in the first session about, for example, this one. So one colleague gave us that example. We said that we can now have either simple subject like John, or we can say John and okay. So in this case, all we did is just to have what we call compound subject. Compound subject. So the sentence now is still a very simple one, yet we had the compound subject. We said also loves eating banana. So loves eating banana and plays, for example. But here, because we have Ahmad, we play and also love. So in this clause right now, what do we have? We have right now another compound verb, and also we have banana and football are the compound direct. So one simple sentence can have a simple subject or a compound subject, a simple verb or a compound verb, or a simple object or a compound direct object. And also we can combine two clauses, two sentences together in order to have the compound sentence. And in order to do so, we will have, when we have two clauses, we can combine them together in many ways. So simply we can combine the two clauses. If I have one independent clause and one independent clause, I can combine them in order to form a compound sentence. Can someone give me an example about a compound sentence?
Okay.
Yes, Hussein.
I ate bread and then I ate cheese.
And I ate cheese. So, and this example that Hussein provided us, guys, we have now what? Have one main clause, I ate bread, and another main clause, I ate cheese. So now I have two independent clauses, and I join them together using what? The comma and the coordinating conjunction and. Consequently, I have what's called or what is named as the compound sentence. So this sentence now became a compound sentence simply because I have two independent clauses. One independent clause, another independent clause, joined together by the comma and the coordinating conjunction. So the second type of the sentence is called a complex sentence. A complex sentence. How can I have a complex sentence? Or what does a complex sentence consist of? Ayot?
Yes, teacher.
What does a complex sentence consist of?
A dependent and independent clause.
Bravo. One dependent clause and one independent clause. So I'm sorry, but remind me, what does an independent clause mean and what does a dependent clause mean?
Independent means it's basically its own sentence. It could work alone. Dependent means it needs something else to become a full sentence or work.
Bravo. Very, very good. So as we have already spoken about the parts of any sentence or any clause. So a sentence, to be a sentence, it must have at least three things. Number one, subject. Number two, a verb. And number three, a complete meaning or a complete idea. If it had just one subject, one verb, and a complete meaning, or a compound subject, compound verb, and a compound direct object, or even an adjective or an adverb, and it can stand alone as one independent clause, it's called a simple sentence. So, an independent clause, simply or typically, it's a simple sentence. On the other hand, the dependent clause, it depends upon another thing in order to illustrate it. So it may have the subject, it may have the verb, yet it doesn't give me the complete idea or the complete information or the complete meaning. Consequently, we need other things in order to illustrate it. So Muhammad, can you give me an example about the complex sentence? The easiest way to make a dependent
Oh yeah,
clause,
I have one.
coordinating conjunction.
I have one.
Yep.
I hit Ali.
No.
Yes. You have to write that out.
I hit Ali.
But the teacher told me not to.
But the teacher
Told me not to.
not to. So this sentence is what, Muhammad?
Complex.
Why?
What?
Why?
It has dependent and independent.
Where is the independent? Where is the dependent?
I hit Ali is independent, but the teacher told me not to is dependent.
The teacher told me not to.
That's dependent.
Why it's dependent?
Because you can't say it alone. If you say it's incomplete idea, it's not full.
Why it's incomplete idea? Do you agree with Muhammad, guy?
The teacher told me not to. Not to what? You know?
Yeah, that's
the teacher
called.
told me not to what?
So, in your sentence right now, Muhammad, that's just one sentence, right? Here, not to what? Not to hit Ali, right? That's what we called, or what we have taken out of the sentence, right? Hit Ali. This in English grammar is called ellipsis. It's called ellipsis, but still, it's a complete sentence. So, unfortunately, in your case, or the sentence.
So I've made an even more complex sentence?
No, this one is not complex sentence. Unfortunately, this one is a compound sentence.
Okay, my brain's broken.
Why? This sentence is...
Teacher, if I remove but, I hit Ali, the teacher told me not to.
Yes, if we remove the but, and we add here the period. So we have here two independent clauses. So once again, this grammar... Muhammad, darling, simply.
Don't call me that. I don't. No, I'm not that. No.
Wow, all of you are my darlings. Come on.
Okay, now you've deserved me leaving.
No. You're breaking my heart. So once again, what are you planning to do right here is what? Simply, you are trying to ellipse something from the sentence, and the thing that you have ellipsed, the thing now will change the sentence from independent into dependent. Unfortunately, the other thing happened because that's called ellipsis in English, and still the sentence is correct because you have here the meaning in the previous sentence that you have provided. Did he leave? Oh. No, come back. He left, and I don't know why actually he did this. So once again, guys, in order to change this into complex one, all we need to do is just to add a subordinating conjunction. So now the sentence became complex one. So once again, okay, when you have an independent clause and another independent clause, and in the middle you have a comma and a coordinating conjunction, that's called compound sentence. On the other hand, when you have an independent clause and a dependent one, that's called the complex sentence. Okay, so far so good. So far so good, guys.
Yes.
All right. Also, there is another type for combining sentences in order to make them phrases. In order to make them phrases. So now we have a sentence, we have a clause, and also we have a phrase. Yes, we do. So the only difference between a phrase and a clause is that the phrase is bigger than a clause. The phrase is bigger than a clause. So I can combine two sentences together in order to make them one phrase. One simple sentence equals one phrase. Here you have much information. Like for example, Ali walks to school. And Muhammad walks to school. So here, what type of sentence is this? Simple, compound, complex, or compound, complex? Ali walks to school, Muhammad walks to school too. Simple, compound, complex, or compound, complex?
It's a compound complex.
Compound complex means two independent clauses and one dependent clause. How many clauses do we have?
Two.
Only two. The two of them. They first look at the clause you have. Are they independent or dependent or one and one? Ali walks to school, Muhammad walks to school. Independent or not?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
So they are independent clauses. Consequently, it's a compound sentence. So I can just combine both of them in one simple sentence by saying Ali and Muhammad
Yes.
walk to school. So I changed the Ali walks to school and Muhammad walks to school too into just one simple sentence by having the compound subject. In this case, because we included more information in the clause, while speaking about the prepositional phrases. So let's see some examples here. Bingo. So to speak about joining clauses, you will have sentence can be combined by changing one of them into a subordinate clause. And when you have a subordinate clause, this will lead into what? Subordinate clause will lead into a complex sentence. Subordinate clause always leads into complex sentence. Or sentences also can be combined by changing one of them into a phrase. So, for example, when we have two sentences like Dad was pleased, he had learned something new. So I can combine was pleased because he had learned something new. So that was pleased, that's the independent clause. Because he learned something new, that's the dependent one. So now I have the complex sentence. On the other hand, I can make two of them just one phrase. Our class took a field trip, that's a simple sentence. We went to the local college, another simple sentence. So simply, we call a phrase in English. Our class took a field trip to the local college. Okay, so I combined two simple sentences in just one simple sentence, which is called or named phrase. So in practice number A, So in fraction number A here, we are asked to identify the subordinate clauses. So read each sentence and identify and then underline the subordinate clause. So let's start with Khalid Al Khalifa, number 1. Khalid Al Khalifa, unavailable. Kid. Muhammad Al Wataibi.
Yes, teacher.
Number 1, Muhammad, identify and underline the subordinate clause.
Okay. You return to the book. You return the book to the store if you have the receipt. I think if you have the receipt,
If you have the receipt, you can return the book. So if you have the receipt, that's the subordinate clause because it starts with the subordinating conjunction if. So if the subordinating conjunction, so the clause after the subordinating conjunction is called a subordinate clause. Number 2, Ali practiced the routines so that she could try out for the dance team. Underline the subordinate clause.
So that she could try for the dance team.
So that she could try out for the dance team. Identify the subordinating conjunction here, Hussein.
It's so.
What?
So
alone?
that.
So alone is a coordinating conjunction that makes a compound sentence. Yet so that together is a subordinating conjunction makes the complex sentence. Muhammad Al-Falih, number 3. Since Halida started selling jewelry, she has sold many pieces. Underline the subordinate conjunction Muhammad Al-Falih.
Yes, teacher.
Yeah, numéro 3. Underline the subordinate conjunction.
Oui. Since Alida started selling jewelry, she has sold many pieces.
Yes.
So,
subordinate clause.
Since Alida started selling jewelry, I think.
Yep. So simply, since Alida started selling jewelry, what happened? She has sold many pieces, and of course, the subordinating conjunction we have is since. Sana, number 4. Abdulaziz Sana, number 4, and Al Malki, number 5. I planted a vegetable garden because I like fresh vegetables. So, what is the subordinate clause we have here? Same. So, of course, because I like fresh vegetables is the...
Teacher, did you call me?
Yes.
Your voice was black.
Sorry. Answer number 5, please, Hussein. Although we planned to go to the beach, we went to the mountains instead.
Okay. Although we plan to go to the beach, this is the the subordinate clause, and although is the subordinate conjunction.
Bravo. So we have although we plan to go to the beach, that's a subordinate clause.
Teacher, number 4, did you call me?
I have been calling you since forever, Khalid, but you are playing it, not with us.
No, I'm not playing, teacher. I was eating, sorry.
My heart is broken, man.
No, teacher.
Bon appetit. Okay, jumping to practice number P, we are asked to combine the sentence using phrases. So two simple sentences will become one phrase. Like, for example, Greg bought a new bike. He bought it at the bike shop downtown. So we can just make the two independent clauses one phrase by saying Gary bought a new bike at the bike shop downtown. And number one here, Khalid, can you do it? We put cilantro in the noodle fish, or the noodle dish, sorry. Cilantro is a kind of herbs. Khalid. Otebi, can you do it?
Yes. Yes, teacher.
Number one, we
Okay.
need to combine these two
Okay.
sentences into
Uh,
one.
we put cilantro in the noodle dishes. Cilantro is a kind of herb.
Yes.
I think we put cilantro in the dishes and, not and. Wait,
Yes.
wait, I will think about it.
Yes. Think about it.
After we put cilantro, I think we put cilantro is a kind of herb.
Teacher, you're scrolling out.
After we put teacher explain please.
Yeah. I have to stop sharing and I share the game.
After teacher what you called, we put cilantro. Then you write cilantro is a kind of herb.
So we put cilantro in the noodle dish, and then we put a kind of herb. That's very, very excellent. So simply, we put cilantro, comma, kind of herb, comma, in the noodle dish. Very excellent, Ati. And number two, we saw two spotted fawns. They were in the park. Hussein, can you do it?
Yes, teacher.
We saw two spotted fawns. They were in the park. Can you solve this?
Yes.
Yep.
We saw two spotted fawns where they were in the park.
So what shall we ellipse to make the two simple sentences just one phrase?
They.
So just ellipse day and ellipse week. So we saw two spotted fawns in the park. So just add the prepositional phrase. So we'll just ellipse subject and the verb from the second clause, and we just add the prepositional phrase. So we saw two spotted fawns in the park. In number three, our English class read poems. The poems were written by Emily Dickinson. That's pretty easy. Who can solve this? Who can solve number 3? Turki Shamrani, Tamer Kulib. Nawaf, Khalid. Come on, guys. Just like that. Our English class read poems by Emily Dickinson. Khalid, we are trying to make a phrase, not a compound or complex sentence. So Khalid here says that we shall say, actually that's good, Khalid, that you said that. So Khalid, the idea is just to say our English class read poems which were written by Emily Dickinson. Right, Khalid? That's your idea. Okay, that's a great, Khalid. But here, this sentence now will become what? What type of sentence is this? Our English class read poems which were written by Emily Dickinson. Simple, compound, complex, or compound, complex? To know the type of the sentence, first see how many clauses does the sentence have. And after knowing the types of clauses, know whether they are independent or dependent, and then decide. So our class read poems which were written by Emily Dickinson. This one is simple, compound, complex, or compound, complex. What do you think, Khalid? Never mind. So this sentence, our class read and read poems which were written by Emily Dickinson. So this sentence is compound, complex, or compound, complex, or simple. Come on. No, it's not. It's only complex because you have here two sentences. You have two clauses. Our class read poems. That's an independent clause. Which were written by Emily Dickinson. That's a dependent one. So you have two clauses, one independent and one dependent. Consequently, that's a complex sentence. And here we are asked to write what? A phrase. A phrase means a simple sentence yet containing a prepositional phrase at the end. So we cannot write this one. So all we are doing is just to write our class read poems by Emily Dickinson. Next one, we went to the university auditorium. We wanted to hear the guest speaker. So simply, we went to the university auditorium. Why? To hear the guest speak. Just like that. Now you changed the two sentences into one phrase. last but not least, because of the time, Johnny was tired. He had been doing errands all weekend. So all we need to do is just to add a prepositional phrase. So Johnny was tired. Why? From doing errands all weekend. Just like that. Got the idea, guys?
Yes.
Any question? If you don't have any question, that's gonna be it for today, and do your test in your exam. You have math today, right?
Yes.
That's great. All right, with it. That's gonna be it for today, and see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.